Tēnei te mihi, no mā hara mai ki tēnei podcast where we are talking with Brother TK on his personal reflection on the learnings over this current paper. Kia ora. Our first partai is which aspects of the paper challenged you or made you think or feel differently, and how did you respond?
Tēnā koe te prata, no reira ka tika tua tahi rā, ko te amorangi ki mua, ko te hāpai o ki muri, e tika ana ngā tauwhiritanga o te wāhine ki runga ki tēnā o tātou, kei ngā mata o te pō, ko tau ko takataka hitara whānui o tāne, whakarongo atu rā kua hau ki muri nei, e muri aro hae, kei ngā mata o te awatea, ko tau tātou nei, te hunga kiko, te hunga e toko hia i tēnei kaupapa nei, ara o te mana o te wāhine. Uti rā ka tika mi ka atu ana tēnei kia koe, rai te whaia māsea mo tō tino, mana ki tiaki, arahi, rā, ia mātau, o tauira, tira ia hau nei. Kei runa noa te koe, ai te whaia whakaarorui. Uti rā kia koe no ki para, mi ka atu ana tēnei kia koe mo tō tino arahi, tautoko ia hau, i ngā mutu, i ngā wiki, ara kua pahuri ake nei. Nā mi, wala. So, ki te pātai, which aspects of this paper challenged me and how did they make me think and feel different? I must say that for me personally, this particular paper and the learnings, it was reaffirming for me. It was reaffirming for me, and what it did for me, it actually took me back to when I was a child, when all my kuia were alive. They were very, very strong kuia. They were the boss, essentially, they were the boss. And what they said went. And so naturally for me, when I'm learning and researching and reading different articles and stuff, that materials from the paper here, that's how it made me think and feel. There was no difference in the way I felt. It was reassuring, reaffirming, and it made me feel good. And it took me back to a time when I was a child, as I was growing up here in Ngāti Pūkeko, Ngāti Awa, which were very, very happy times. We had a lot of strong wāhine around us who kept us safe and taught us. And so it was a very, very, my interaction with this particular paper was, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Kia ora. So our next partai is which aspects of the paper resonated or connected with you, and what impact did this make?
So I think about when I go back to when I was a child, and when I was at school, and I found actually my first year here in the University of Waikato, I found that I was ADHD, and so that actually changed my life. It was actually quite liberating, discovering that. And so when I was a kid, I was classed as a person who was disruptive, who was what do you call it? My attention span wasn't that great, and I was a disobedient kid. When in reality it was just boring. Yeah. And so coming back to the second part there, what actually took, I was taken by the fact that we were meditating before each class. And for me, that is crucial. That is what enabled me and helped me get through the learning. I actually took that practice to every other class, every other paper this semester. I would sit before every class started and do a quick little whakatau before I got into the learning, and it helped me come into the learning, and it enabled me to open up and receive what was being taught. And so that's something that particular aspect there is something that resonated hard with me. And of course the learning, all beautiful mātauranga, listening and watching. That being said, aroha mai whai that I wasn't in class all the time. In fact, I had to come home and start working because I was no longer entitled to student learning. But I did keep up. Yeah. And mihi nui rawa tu tēnei kia koe mo tērā mo tō tautoko ki tērā.
Kia ora, I love that holistic approach. Our third question here is, what was your favourite reading, video, lecture and why?
Oh man, for me that was easy. I go straight to he māngai wāhine, and the tipuna wāhine that were talked about in that particular video, kuia like Ninewa ki te rangi and Meri te taikara ma ngā kāhia, and te kirikaramu, who was also known as Hinipori or Jane Foley, and the feats that those women achieved, to me was like, kairunga, this is ake runga. And again, they reminded me of my kuia back here in Poroporo, and how they conducted themselves, and how they executed their plans, and how they pretty much led the way for us back here out in Te Poroporo. It's funny because, you know, for us out here, our crow out here, they like to think that they're the boss. Well, there's this saying that our kuia said, you might be the head of the whānau, but I'm the neck that makes that head too. And so, for me, interacting and engaging with these tipuna kuia was inspiring for me. And to be honest, I kept watching it and watching it and watching it, and I'm still watching it now. Because for me, there are a lot of examples that are within that video, within that documentary, that I believe will help us here in the now, today, and of course moving forward into the future when it comes to interacting, engaging, tāne mai, wāhine mai.
Kia ora, kia ora. And our final pātai here is, what learning will you take forward into your studies or practice at home?
What learnings will I take forward into my practices, into my study? In respect to study, again, I go back to the meditation that Whai would do before each class. That's something that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life when it comes to learning. I never ever, before that point, had anyone show me that, or was never involved in something like that. And so for me, it revolutionized the way I sat and listened, and it helped. And it has helped me throughout the semester. Yeah, continue to stay focused on this aspect of my life, on the research and on the study journey. Because I tell you, it's been really hard working and doing other things and trying to study and keep up at the same time. So that's definitely something that I'll keep and that I will continue to do in respect to my study and practices. My practices at home. Again, the mātauranga that was learnt, the examples that were seen and heard, they reinforced a worldview that I was raised with. Ara ko te rā, ko te ihi me te oho. Te balance, te ira wāhine, te ira tāne. Te mana tāne, te mana wāhine. And even though we walk side by side and we work together, at the end of the day, we all have and possess our own mana. And so for me, this paper, the kaupapa mana wāhine, I believe should be taught at school as well, and it should be taught everywhere.
Yeah. Well, kia ora, Brother TK. Thank you for your reflections on this paper. You can definitely tell the learnings and the awareness that you have gained. Are there any final words that you would like to say?
Kia ora, my brother. No reira, kei runga i tērā. Whakanui a te wahine, whakanui anō te tāne, kia haere tahi tātou katoa.
Kia ora. Kia ora, Kingi. Nō reira, ka mihi, ka mihi, ka mihi. Tūku.